What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are starting our adventures into the manga Mobile Suit Gundam Seed CE-73 Delta Astray. In this episode we will learn more about the Martian Agnes as he leaves Mars and tours Earth right as the Second Alliance Plant War breaks out. This is not only the follow-up to Destiny Astray, but also a compendium for Mobile Suit Gundam Seed CE-73 Stargazer, so I would definitely check out that video as a compendium to this video. Let's not waste any time, and let's get into this. What do these young men of Mars see in this pure and blue world? Will they open the door to destruction? The seeds of a new destiny are sown. Insert sperm joke here. Baltroa, outside of the Earth sphere, there is a DSSD supply station. A ship called the Acidalium is docking with the station. Nahi Herschel is helming the ship. He notes that since the fall of Junia 7, security has been tight everywhere. The Acidalium is an interplanetary transport ship that was built by the Australis colony on Mars. Its main feature is its interplanetary sailing unit, which contains a quadruple thermonuclear pulse thruster, which is 3 times the size of the Acidalium proper. It also has a positron blaster cannon. The ship also has 12 3-tube missile launchers, as well as 12 5-barrel CIWSs. They are exchanging rare Mars metals in exchange for supplies, including delicious Earth foods. In the captain's seat is Agnes. The wiki refers to him as Ergnus, but I'm on Zionic Scantilation's side on this one. I am calling him Agnes. He is quite hot-headed. He also has a sister that we have met in the CE universe already. If you know, don't spoil it, but the hair kind of gives it away. Herschel calms him down. They make their landing on the station. Zaft's relief forces are currently at the station as well. Tensions are high indeed. But remember, DSSD is a joint operation between Zaft and EA as well as others. It is more or less a neutral operation, like the Junk Guild. Agnes looks at the Zaft occupation of this station and proclaims that he will not let this hatred spread to Mars. They tried to get a meeting with Durandal, not thinking it would happen, but he actually agreed to a meeting. They head out to the plants. Herschel mentions that many Mars civilians are coordinators, so they have a strong relationship with Zaft. They meet with Durandal. He says he is busy but couldn't give up an opportunity to talk to travelers from afar. He continues on and tells the two that he is very interested in their Australis colony, which seemed to create their own form of government. Agnes gets ahead of this and yells at Durandal, stating that Mars is not a playground. Durandal states that he is simply genuinely interested in their process. He apologizes for intruding and makes his departure, but says they are always welcome. As Agnes and Herschel are leaving, they run into Lacus Klein. We of course know this as Mir Campbell, pretending to be Lacus. A Zaft soldier comes running towards the two. It seems that the Alliance has declared war and they need to come with him. He tells the Martians that the Alliance have already launched forces from the moon. The hot-headed Agnes goes off and demands to see the chairman. He suits up and asks Durandal if he could sortie. Herschel tells Agnes that these are matters between Earth and Zaft and they shouldn't get involved. But of course, Agnes isn't having any of it. He launches in his Delta Astray. The GSF YAM-01 Delta Astray is considered the first mobile suit built by the Martians. And by built by the Martians, I mean they assisted while Low of the Junk Guild did most of the work, let's be real. This is why this unit has the moniker Astray. It utilizes data from the Red Frame and the Dreadnought H, and has its own operating system that utilizes the Vulture Lumiere propulsion system. We've seen this on Destiny, Strike Freedom, and Stargazer, but when this version is activated, it creates a light effect known as Wings of Light, and like the Stargazer, makes this unit a speed demon. The Gundam acronym stands for Generation Unsubdued Nuclear Drive Assault Module Complete. Ugh. He launches in the Delta Astray. He catches up to a Zaft fleet. It just so happens to be Izak, Diarca, and their team. Izak, being a hothead as well, butt heads with Agnes for a panel or two, but he authenticates his mobile suit for Zaft so they don't accidentally shoot him down. Agnes heads out with Izak's team. He activates the Wings of Light. Herschel comes in on the comms and tells Agnes that they are running into a trap. Agnes looks behind him to see nukes exploding around the plants. This, of course, is EA EA's attack on Aprilius 1 post-Break the World incident. The Alliance sent out Gundams carrying nukes, but of course, this is stopped by the Neutron Stampeder. The battle wages on, and Agnes takes part in war for the first time. The Occidalium is heading towards Earth. We flash back to Herschel and Agnes talking to Durandal about trying to meet up with the Alliance. Durandal gives the Martians Isaac Mao to help them make contact. We have seen Isaac show up in Gundam Seed. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, there he is. It's this guy. Didn't you want to know the backstory behind this guy? Well, here you go. They make it into Earth orbit and land towards an Alliance-occupied town. They are worried that this is not a good idea, but Agnes has his sights on meeting with the Alliance. We cut to the team in their mobile suits. We talked about Delta Astray, but Herschel is piloting the Mars tank. The GSW M02 Mars tank is more of a mobile worker. It is made for utility and not for battle, and can fly in Mars' atmosphere. However, it does have some sort of beam weapon, as we will see later, but I don't believe it is on the level of a positron cannon like the Lohengrin. Isaac is also piloting the Kerberos Baku Hound. See our Stargazer video for more on this unit. EA soldiers take them to their commanding officer, but they must not go any further with their mobile suits. Agnes goes and meets Lieutenant Colonel Zhao Qin of the 81st Independent Mobile Battalion. Of course, this battalion is known more by the name Phantom Pain. Out of the corner of the room is Phantom Pain member Sven. He is the pilot of the Strike Noir. Sven shoots Agnes. When Agnes wakes up, he is being interrogated by the Colonel and Sven. They want to know what the weapon was that Zaft used to destroy all of the Alliance's nukes. He doesn't give him any information, nor does he actually know any information, and yells at the Colonel. He tells Sven to kill him. And with impeccable timing, the Mars tank uses its beam weapon on the Phantom Pain headquarters. Agnes literally does a backflip and then snaps the guy's neck.
Anyway, so then the secret agent guy did a backflip and snapped the bad guy's neck and saved the day.
He runs out and gets back into his Gundam. They are met by Phantom Pain members Shams in the Verde Buster Gundam and Buddy Holcroft in the Blue Duel Gundam. They begin fighting, but Shams decides to go for the Acidalium. Herschel heads back to the ship while Agnes continues battling. He activates the Vulture Lumiere system, and Phantom Pain are not able to get the Gundam in their sights. Herschel tells Agnes that Phantom Pain members' brains have been tampered with and they fight with no soul. Agnes says, how can one fight if you have nothing to fight for? Agnes says that there is no hope for the Alliance. All that is left is Orb and Kira Yamato. They head towards Orb. Isaac is still complaining, but Herschel says he should understand Agnes's hot-headedness by now. They get intel that the Minerva was attacked and seeked refuge at Orb, only to be attacked when they left. Isaac mentions that Orb is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it is only a matter of time until they have to align themselves with the Alliance. As a Zaft soldier, he doesn't want to disembark the ship while docked at Orb. They reach Orb and meet with the princess herself, Kigali Yuna Atha. They are happy to meet, and she says that they could use any allies at the moment. She also mentions it's her wedding day. Orb helps by resupplying and fixing the Acidalias. The Martians head out to the city. Later on the Takamikazuchi, Captain Tadaka shows the Martians their latest tech. You remember Captain Tadaka? One of these mobile suits that we never really talked about in our Destiny coverage is the Astray Shrike. Shriek? Shrike. Shrike. Not Strike. Shrike. The M1 Astray Shrike is an M1 Astray with the EF-24R Shrike pack, which allows the mobile suit to fly in Earth atmosphere. Because Orb relies heavily on the sea, this unit has the ability to do a vertical takeoff with ease. Besides the backpack, this is a standard M1 Astray with Vulcans, 2 beam sabers, a beam rifle, and a shield. Tadaka also shows off the new Murasame and notes that they have a small batch of M1 Astrays designed specifically for space as well. The Martians watch as the Murasame transforms into a mobile suit. They never thought Terrans would have such tech. The Martians look out at Orb's mass driver. It seems they can't find Kira Yamato anywhere on Orb. They assume if he was here, he probably left. They head back to Morgenrot. Some engineers are updating the mobile suit's OS to adapt to Earth atmosphere. It is fitting, as this is the home of the Astray. He then notes that his Gundam isn't even an Astray. It's just a name given by that Junk Guild member. Of course, he is referring to Lo. Herschel sees a black and gold mobile suit docked as well. A technician mentions that it belongs to a guest of Kigali's wedding. Of course, this is Rondo making her respects to the Atha family as the head of one of the Orb royal families. One mentions that the wedding just started. Suddenly, alarms go off. They think it is terrorists, and Agnes launches in his Gundam. He doesn't know that this terrorist just so happens to be the chosen one that he was looking for. As he heads out, Kira does the Jesus special. You know what I'm talking about. Delta Astray is hit. As he goes to attack, he is stopped by Rondo in the gold frame. She stops him from saving Kigali. Agnes wants to protect Orb at any cost, even if it means attacking Rondo. Rondo convinces him that he isn't fighting for Kigali in this moment, but rather fighting for an idea that perhaps Kigali represents. She says that perhaps he is projecting because he too wants his people to live the way they deem best for their community. This seems to stop Agnes. What is interesting about this situation is that it seems Rondo wants Kira to take Kigali. As she wasn't really around during Gundam Seed Destiny, we know that she doesn't agree with the royal families currently, which is exactly the same position Kigali is in. Remember, it may seem like she is completely detached, but Rondo too cares deeply about the nation of Orb. It seems she wants Gundam Seed Destiny to play out. Ew. We cap off this episode with a mini chapter of a flashback at a factory on Australis colony on Mars. Lo and Kisato are still on Mars during this time. Kisato brings Lo lunch. He has been tasked by the Martians to create the Delta Astray. Lo goes on a rant about not siloing his mobile suit into one utility before ever using it. He gives a little bit of exposition on the history of the Astray units. Of course, Agnes says that's not how Martians do it. As Lo and the Martians banter, another Martian, Diego Lowell, is eavesdropping on their conversation. Kisato goes on to talk about missing Earth food. Agnes mentions that he misses his sister, but Herschel says he just misses her cooking. In 3 days, Delta Astray will be ready to go, and Lo will be on his way back to Earth. The chapter ends with a narration stating that at this time, Lo still didn't know that upon his arrival to Earth, he would pick up a girl in the vicinities of Armory 1, and that girl would prepare him delicious Martian dishes. Yes, that is right. Satona Winters is Agnes's sister, and she is in fact a Martian. In the past, Mars was occupied by naturals and the Australis colony was created. However, the naturals were struggling to terraform the planet. They reached out to the plants to help them create coordinators with a gene expression that helps them live in the Mars environment, and thus, the first Martians were born. Back in the present on Orb, Agnes and Rondo are having a chat after Rondo stopped him from fighting Kira. Agnes tells Rondo his story, but she is perceptive. She says their war will never make it to Mars, so what is he actually concerned about? The Martians have no choice but to tell Rondo and Reverend Malchio, who is also in the room. Agnes tells them that they recently discovered raw ore on the surface of Mars. They are concerned that EA and plants will come at them for their materials. Rondo, being perceptive, recognizes that only one material would be so desired, the base substance found in the neutron jammer canceller. They don't name what the material is, however. The Atlantic Federation currently controls the reserves of this material on Earth, but if it becomes abundant, nuclear war would most likely break out once again. Rondo says that Agnes is hot-blooded. She tells him that the one who captured Kigali was an associate of hers. She doesn't say his name, but Agnes recognizes that this is Kira Yamato. Rondo suggests that perhaps the idea that Agnes has of Kira as the savior might not paint the whole story of his character. Phantom Pain is making its way to Orb. Just as many have thought, they are going to pressure Orb to side with the EA. As a side note, they are still considered the EA, but the Atlantic Federation is in complete control. Since Operation Spitbreak, many of the Eurasian forces became rebels. Sven is with Jiao Qin, talking to royal family member Unato Seirin, father of Yuna Seirin. Also, I think I referred to this member as Joaquin just because of the spelling in many places, but I think it's Jiao Qin. Agnes flashes back to his youth. He is fighting with other students when Herschel comes in and gets everyone to be friendly. Herschel mentions that his genes were manipulated to be an empathetic person. Agnes introduces himself and Herschel is excited. He seems to be the future leader of Australis, but Agnes doesn't seem like he wants the role. Agnes is a very grim person unlike Herschel, so together they are the perfect balance. Agnes snaps out of his flashback when his phone rings. Isaac tells them that the Acidalium was sent a message from the Orb government to leave immediately. Somewhere on Orb, we meet the Slaughter Dagger pilots. We discussed this in our Stargazer video, but the Slaughter Dagger is a customized 01A1 dagger. It is black due to its laminated armor. Each pilot has a different striker pack on their Slaughter Daggers. Hoskin, Gira, Sakoto, aka Cougar 4, uses the Sword Striker. Vanfield Rhea Lindsay, known as Panther 2, is using the L Striker Pack. Guard Del Hokua, aka Tiger 5, is using the Lightning Striker. This striker pack is designed to increase the battery life of striker units. It was originally designed for the Strike Rouge and the OG Strike, but after being damaged, it was repaired by Orb and is now used on the Slaughter Dagger. It also has a Type 70-31 electromagnetic cannon. Wade Rabi Nagata, aka Jaguar 1, uses the IWSP Striker. This thing is like a mini meteor system. It has anti-ship swords, 2 115mm railguns, and a 105mm cannon, as well as a 30mm 6-barrel Gatling gun. Kigali was initially unable to use this striker pack. The data of this pack was used to create the Strike Noir pack. And finally, SARS Sim Aliyah, aka Leopard 4, is using the Launcher Striker. Commanding this team is Phantom Pain member Sven. In the Strike Noir, the team heads out. Even though he pilots the Strike Noir, I want to use this opportunity to talk about the Strike E. The GAT X-105E Strike E is a part of the Action project by EA and Action. Stargazer goes into more detail about this project. The E stands for Enhanced, as this is still a regular old Strike with better AI and better power efficiency. It is designed to be piloted by naturals. This unit has variable shift armor, unlike the original Strike, which only has phase shift armor, and of course it has striker hardpoints. It is equipped with Vulcans, a beam rifle Shorty, which is a shortened version of the standard beam rifle. It also uses a 57mm high-energy beam rifle and a grenade launcher. The weird tips on the shoulders are actually extra thrusters for improved mobility. As the Acidalium is leaving, they are met with Wade in the Slaughter Dagger. Agnes heads out in the Delta Gundam. As he goes in, the Dagger uses its ISWP pack. We find out that he was originally supposed to use the Jet Striker, but wanted to use Kigali's personal striker pack to impress her. He seems to be set on stealing Kigali from Yuna. This character expressed his feelings about Kigali more so than Athrun does throughout all of Destiny. Sven gives him permission to use the striker pack. Vanfeld comes in and uses his Sword Striker. Isaac wants to go back to Orb, but Agnes doesn't want to get their nation involved. So Isaac and Herschel decides to go help. While 3 of the Slaughter Daggers are taking on the Delta Astray, 2 are focusing their attention on the Acidalium. Guard also protested his original Doppelhorn Striker pack for the Lightning pack. Guard and another fires their beam cannon on the shore right towards the Acidalium. It misses. The Mars tank and the Baku Hound are on top of the Acidalium when the ship comes to an abrupt stop. Isaac falls off of the ship to find that one of the strikers is trying to sink it. Hoskin, using the Sword Striker, goes in and attacks Herschel using his Mars tank. He says that the mobile armor is no match for his mobile suit. Herschel transforms to reveal its true form, the Guard Shell. The GSF YAM-02 Guard Shell is the second mobile suit created by Mars. It actually takes the shape of the Mars tank referred to as tripod mode, but this is its real form. It is designed to work with the Delta Astray, as Delta acts as the offensive unit and the Guard Shell works as the defensive unit. It is equipped with a beam gun, which is what we saw fired last episode. The Trisaucer transforms into a shield and contains a laser sword, rocket anchor, and an anchor sword. Meanwhile, Isaac goes in and attacks the mobile suit on the shore. He is able to take out Guard. Delta Gundam uses its Vulture Lumiere system and becomes a speed demon. He is able to disable Wade's striker. As it falls, Sven comes in and steals his striker pack to create the Strike Gundam IWSP. Sven strikes down the Delta Astray, pun intended. Herschel watches as Agnes falls into the ocean. We flash back to 5 years ago where we meet the professor before manning the home. She finds an escape pod and calls Kenneth to see if he has any information on pods like this. He only tells her that it is an old model. The professor resuscitates the woman to find that it is Satona Winters. Agnes wakes up to find that he is on the Acidalium. He was defeated by Sven, but is still alive. Agnes is devastated, but Herschel tells him that their genes are modified based on their missions. Since he failed at his mission, it is tantamount to having failed genes. Isaac says that he is also a coordinator with modified genes, but it doesn't work like that and still requires effort. Martians are quite the perfectionists. Agnes remembers when his people gifted him the Delta. They tell him that Delta means gate and throws him a metaphor about being the gate to the people of Mars. Agnes believes that he is close closed that gate. In between Gibraltar and Carpinteria, in the depths of the ocean, is Zaft Ocean Floor Base, Lagash. It is technically just a bunch of old Zaft subs connected together to make a base. As Agnes gets medical attention, Isaac goes to repair the Delta Gundam, but that causes Herschel to freak out. It appears that he knows more than everyone else. Agnes gets up and demands Herschel to tell him everything he knows. Herschel tells them that the people of Mars designed Delta to collect and gather data from the Terrans. If anything were to happen to the unit, it would not only self-destruct Delta, but also the Acidalium. They were lucky it didn't go off during the previous battle. Not only that, if the Acidalium doesn't return by its planned date, it will also self-destruct. They don't want the Terrans to have the technology of the Delta Gundam. Agnes feels betrayed by Herschel. Hey, weren't you in pain a few moments ago? The Zaft base is currently monitoring the Archangel and notices that a Martian mobile suit is approaching the ship. This is Diego Lowell, but he is piloting the Mars Jacket. The MBF JG-73MJ Mars Jacket is a mobile suit armor created by Australis. It is just a civilian Astray JG custom, which we will see in Stargazer, but they are essentially junk-killed mobile workers. When the Mars Jacket is put on, it is then equipped with Vulcans, a beam twin sword rifle, a sword, a beam cannon, and a beam barrier, which is just shields. This is the same Mars Jacket that the Red Frame wears as well. The only difference, of course, is the Gerbera Strait. Now remember, at the end of Destiny Astray, Lo no longer had the Red Frame, and we saw it in action during the Break the World incident. We can assume that this was Diego the entire time. Last episode, we ended with Diego spying on Lo and the Martians, so we can assume he snatched it. He sends out an open broadcast saying that he is coming for Lacus. The Acidalium emerges from the water. Suddenly, a bright light appears from above. It is the Vulture Lumiere system. Out of the sky emerges the Turn Delta. The MMF JG-73L Turn Delta is based off of the Astray JG Custom. This unit runs on battery, unlike Delta. It also has independent atmospheric flight capabilities, and like the original, has the Vulture Lumiere system. The suit is equipped with a beam rifle, 2 beam sabers fixed on the arms, and 2 Lumiere shields, a beam shield, as well as 2 golden movable arms at the back of the suit. The pilot says she is here to open a new gate for her people. Agnes recognizes her voice. It is Satona Winters. It seems that Diego has been tasked with watching over Satona. Sorry, these are Martians. He wasn't tasked. His genes were modified to protect her. He apologizes for failing her. Being the older sister, she was actually the one that was supposed to lead Australis colony, but she wanted to go out on her own path and help people, but she couldn't do that on Mars, so she ran away. The ship that she boarded had an accident, and she escaped in a stasis pod. Of course, we know that the professor picked her up, but since she was in stasis for 5 years, she hasn't grown at all. This is why she looks younger than Agnes. Isaac tells Diego that Lacus is on the plants, but Diego yells at him and tells him that the Lacus on the plants is a fake. Satona came to give the Turn Delta to Agnes. It was a gift from Lo. Satona and Herschel have a conversation. Essentially, she tries to convince Herschel that one can rise above their genes. The rest of this scene is a series of metaphors about controlling your own fate. Essentially, Agnes, Herschel, Satona, and Diego will form their own team and forge their own path, even if it causes Mars to hate them. Back with Phantom Pain, the team is getting briefed on a new mission. Sven wants to continue pursuing the Martians. Zhao Chen mentions that a new unit has been assigned to the Martians. On the battlefield, 2 units destroy a Zaft team. They are now ready to take down the Martians. We will talk about these 2 mysterious units next time, but you could tell they are variants of Gundams we have seen before. Back on the Acidalium, Satona has once again disappeared. Diego goes to find her at a mansion. She says that this mansion belongs to the people who took care of her when she first came to Earth. Diego looks up to see a picture of Mattias and Prayer. Remember, Mattias self-destructed a ship carrying him and his sister, killing their bloodline, and Prayer died due to a cloning illness in the hands of Kennard Parnes. But it seems that Prayer and Mattias are somehow connected. Diego promises to take care of Satona the same way these people helped her when she was on Earth. They continue cleaning the mansion. After Satona inspired Agnes and gave him a second wind, he and the Martians went to work and started negotiating with the people of the Earth sphere. He talks to the US and Alliance president. He talks to Edward Harrelson, aka Ed the Butcher, of the USSA, and he speaks to Rondo, the only Orb family member who doesn't bend the knee to the Alliance currently. The Martians then finally go and talk to Durandal and Zaft. Of course, he sees the Martian ideals as nothing more than that, just ideals. He asks Agnes if he is attacked. What would he do? Of course, Agnes says he will fight back. They are at a standstill with Zaft, and they are running out of time. They have 3 months to return to Mars. Remember, if they do not return by a certain time, their ship and the Delta Astray will be destroyed to prevent it from getting in the hands of the Terrans. However, they are starting to build a new network of friends on the Earth sphere. Currently, Jess Rabel, protagonist of Destiny Astray, is on board the Acidalium. He thinks that the Martians will make for a good story. Jess realizes that Satona is with the Martians now, as she tagged along in his adventures previously. Also on board the ship is Lo and Kisato. He is trying to repair the Voiture Lumiere system on the Delta Astray. He notes that someone modified the mobile suit after he made his fixes on Mars. Agnes is unsure if it could be fixed, but of course Lo is the #1 junker in space. Him, along with some other junkers, come in and start taking apart the Delta, but Agnes starts freaking out as he doesn't want it to explode. The junkers tell him not to worry. One big upgrade that is new is Isaac's mobile suit, as he is now piloting the Kerberos Zaku Warrior. The ZG-MF 1000 Kerberos Zaku Warrior is simply a Zaku Warrior, but the Kerberos Wizard Pack that was designed for the Kerberos Baku Hound is added. Like the Kerberos Baku Hound, each head contains its own weapons and sensors. It is equipped with beam fangs, beam blades, and beam cannons. A lot of beams happening. It also has a beam tomahawk, hand grenade, and a beam assault rifle. While the Martians are building their new team and armaments, Zaft is prepping Requiem, which we saw in Destiny. Isaac notes Izak and Diarca played an important role during the Requiem battles. It seems that Durandal actually wants to achieve peace. Of course, we all know his version of peace involves the Destiny plan. Something doesn't sit right with Agnes. Back with the Slaughter Dagger team, Vanfeld is seeking revenge after their previous attack, but Wade is all over this. He simply wanted to climb the ranks, but he knows that he simply was used again and doesn't want any of it anymore. Wade notes that also Jibril is dead, so with that and the use of Requiem, it puts us near the end of the Second Alliance Plant War. Also, the Slaughter Dagger team is on their own as Sven has gone on to fight the Stargazer Gundam and eventually leaves the solar system. SARS is still down to fight and wants to help Vanfeld. 2 mystery soldiers watch on the security cameras. Regardless of orders, these 2 are set on eliminating all coordinators, and they don't need Jibril to make that happen. Back at the Acidalium, they get an alert that mobile suits are approaching. They note that one is similar to the unit that attacked Berlin. This means a Destroy Gundam is coming. The Destroy is followed by 2 Slaughter Daggers. Turn Delta and the other Acidalium pilots launch as well. The Destroy Gundam starts going crazy. It is Vanfeld who is piloting the unit. Agnes deploys the Voiture Lumiere system, but the Destroy is a beast, and he is going to run out of power really fast. That is when Lo comes on the comms and lets him know that the Delta Astray is fixed and ready to go. Delta Astray is now equipped with the Voiture Lumiere energy transfer system. Now remember the Deuterium beam energy transfer system that was equipped on Minerva and Impulse Gundam? This system allows a battery-powered mobile suit to be recharged wirelessly during battle. Lo essentially took that technology and applied it to the Voiture Lumiere system and nuclear technology. Are they gonna get cancer? They might get cancer. The giant Turn Delta on the back of Agnes's mobile suit acts as a receiver. Delta Astray is on top of the Acidalium. Lo shoots the transfer system directly at Agnes and the Turn Delta. Turn Delta's Voiture Lumiere system is now completely recharged. Remember, Delta is nuclear powered and thus an energy beast, while the Turn Delta is battery powered. The combined power of the 2 units can allow for the mobile suit to never need to resupply and can stay on the battlefield forever. Agnes does his best Kira impression, while Vanfeld does his best Stella impression and dies. SARS and Wade and the Slaughter Daggers retreat. The 2 mysterious pilots were watching and now know the power of Turn Delta. Back on the Acidalium, a broadcast is sent to the entire Earth sphere. It is Durandal. He introduces his Destiny Plan manifesto to the world. Everyone on the Acidalium is not having it. Everyone except Isaac. Of course, as a Zaft soldier, he thinks that this is the right choice, and even the Martians should understand because their genes are modified in a similar manner to coordinators. Both Satona and Agnes express that humanity must have the ability to express themselves in whatever they choose without being forced into a small window of what humanity can be. Isaac won't be a part of the Mars team if they plan on going against Sterndal. Later, the ship is attacked by Phantom Pain once again. Their slaughter daggers approach on their location, but also 2 new units. This is the Rosso Aegis and the Nero Blitz. The GAT X-303 AA Rosso Aegis Gundam is a modified Aegis that was developed as part of the joint venture between Action Industries and Phantom Pain. Unlike the original Aegis, this unit has variable shift armor and it doesn't have head Vulcans or a shield, but it is equipped with a magnetic field generator that is used to deflect its multi-phase beam cannon, making it harder for the enemy to dodge. We have seen something similar on Forbidden Gundam. This unit has a mobile armor mode and is battery powered. The GAT X-207 SR Nero Blitz Gundam is a modified Blitz Gundam, also a part of the Action project. Like the original Blitz, it is equipped with the Trikeros offensive shield system, including the Lancer darts that we've seen integrated into the gold frame. This unit is also equipped with the Mirage Colloid stealth system, a neutron jammer canceller, and phase shift armor, which means this unit is nuclear powered and breaking treaties. Emilio Broderick pilots the Rosso Aegis and Dana Snip pilots the Nero Blitz. I don't know if they say their names in the manga. I actually had to go to the wiki to find that out. The Rosso Aegis attacks Turn Delta. He is running out of power. Lo preps the Delta Astray. Also, they refer to the Vulture Lumiere transfer system as opening the gate. Jess tells Lo not to deploy, but it is too late. He is attacked. Mirage Colloid tech is detected. It is Nero Blitz Gundam. Also, Lo is piloting Delta remotely from the bridge of the Acidalium. They go to attack Turn Delta when Herschel in the guard shell comes to help. One fights Herschel while the other attacks the Acidalium. Jess thinks that he should go out in the outframe since Lo doesn't have his red frame currently, but that is when Diego comes in with the Mars jacket. Nero Blitz attacks and destroys its armor with ease to reveal that Diego had the red frame this whole time. I mean, we as the reader knew that he had it the whole time, but Lo and the team didn't know that. Meanwhile, Herschel and Agnes teams up on Rosso Aegis. Diego pulls out the twin blades of the red frame Mars jacket. This is not the Gerbera Strait, but they are assumed to be just as sharp as the Gerbera Strait. Nero Blitz disappears using Mirage Colloid. He attacks him once, but when he goes in to attack him for a second time, Jess yells out his location to Diego. He is in the outframe and will act as the Mars jacket's eyes while he fights. Remember, when 8 is connected to Jess's gun camera, the AI is able to detect Mirage Colloid tech. Agnes asks Emilio how can one fight without a purpose, similar to what he said to another Phantom Pain member. Emilio gets mad and attacks Herschel. That is when the Junk Guild crew comes in to help rocking the civilian Astray, JG Custom. The Phantom Pain team continues their attack, claiming that anyone who works with coordinators must die. Lo contacts Agnes. Delta Astray is back online. Isaac is the one that happens to be piloting the Gundam. Isaac gets in really close range to open Turn Delta's gate. Emilio goes in to attack Herschel, but Agnes is at full power now. He goes in and destroys Rosso Aegis. Nero Blitz notices that his partner was just killed. He is distracted. Jess and Diego team up and the red frame slices through Nero Blitz. Later, the Acidalium is prepping for launch back into space using a mass driver system. Herschel will go back and deal with the Mars government while Agnes stays on Earth to try to maintain relationships. Jess snaps some photos in the background. Meanwhile, Emilio and Dana survived and are left in the hands of the Junk Guild? Wait, they survived that attack? Okay, that is what you want me to believe. I guess they survived that. Satona says that people can change. The Destiny plan is still something that the chairman is planning on putting into action. Agnes swears to fight the chairman against this idea. Isaac says that if that is the case, they may be enemies the next time they meet. Diego tells him to stop acting like that. He knows that he will help them if things get heated again. Lo, Jess, and the Martians have a good laugh before they all take off on their next adventure. And that will do it for Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Delta Astray. This was a fun ride, but I am not sure we learned anything new, particularly during this run, although it did bring a lot of the characters of the Astrayverse together. We were teased a relationship between Prayer and Mattias that we haven't yet explored. The once isolationist Martians are now trying to open a new gate by building their new relationships with the people of the Earthsphere, but Herschel will still have to deal with the Martian government and their attempt to blow up the Delta Astray. But don't worry, we aren't even close to completing our journey through the Astrayverse. If you are reading this manga and wondering, where the hell is Guy and Serpent's Tail? Don't you worry. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Frame Astrays will show what the mercenary group has been up to during the Second Alliance plant war. We will also see Guy in his upgraded Blue Frame 3rd. But that will do it for now, coordinators. Remember, the bio-CPUs aren't the anti-coordinators, it's the Martians. They control their genes. Peace.